Ela é chamada de Cidade dos Ombros Largos. Chicago surge majestosa no meio-oeste dos Estados Unidos. O clima dali é enérgico, arrojado e acolhedor para qualquer um que queira se aventurar e sonhar alto.
Welcome aboard. Watch your step.
There's no city quite like it. There really isn't. New York is big. San Francisco is pretty. Los Angeles is fun. Miami is different. But Chicago, just look at the sheer size of this sort of building. It's in your face and it says, we're here and we are important. Truly my kind of town.
I've lived in Chicago all my life. I've been wandering the downtown and the streets since I was a kid. And even after all these years, it's still a thrill.
O amor que Tim Samuelson tem por Chicago vai além de uma obsessão pessoal. Ele é o historiador cultural oficial da cidade, a pessoa perfeita para mostrar esses prédios majestosos.
DNA is this city that is tough but also romantic. It is a city that doesn't worry about following the rules.
De muitas formas, a cidade nasceu tanto do desastre quanto da necessidade. Ela fica no meio-oeste dos Estados Unidos e seus fundadores acreditavam que a cidade podia se tornar o centro de um país em crescimento. Mas em 1871, o grande incêndio de Chicago acabou com tudo.
The city is a process of rebuilding. You need architects. And who comes in but people who are renegades? They have a different idea of what architecture should look like. And in that case, it planted the seed for modern architecture.
E das cinzas, novamente, Chicago prosperou em meio à adversidade. Surgiu o primeiro arranha-céu do mundo, um dos muitos que tornaram essa cidade conhecida. Arquitetos inovadores foram aos montes para lá.
One that I think of is Louis Sullivan. He had ideas of making a building that you could try to imbue in it qualities that will stir the human senses. That's pretty radical stuff in architecture.
If the quote, architecture is the art we live our life in, is true, then Chicago must be an art gallery filled with masterpieces.
Muito trabalho e determinação levam você a qualquer lugar nessa cidade. E isso inclui a alta sociedade. Onde mais, um homem que cursou apenas o ensino fundamental poderia criar um hotel que recebeu chefes de Estado e membros da realeza. Palmer House é um dos hotéis mais antigos dos Estados Unidos.
We call it a palace of the people.
Does this palace of the people serve a hot beverage that will quench one's thirst?
We certainly do. Would you like one?
Gasping for a cup of tea.
Foi o magnata Potter Palmer quem idealizou esse hotel. Ele abriu as portas em 1871, somente 13 dias antes do grande incêndio. O prédio foi destruído e menos de 2 anos depois, o hotel foi reaberto. Dessa vez, era um prédio à prova de fogo. Palmer e seu hotel eram símbolos da persistência sobre a qual Chicago foi construída.
When it opened, was it grand?
Keep in mind, when this hotel opened in 1871, basically what people slept in was their covered wagons going west, or what was called a public house, which is essentially nothing more than a single-story structure that housed a long bar. So no, there wasn't anything grand about it.
So when did it get the sparkle?
Sparkle became the second hotel, and that hotel was grand. It was made of solid blocks of stone and cement, fascia of marble, and it had many grand touches in 1873.
Why was the first a public house for travelers and the second a grand edifice, besides the fire?
I think Palmer learned from being in this place called Chicago that it would one day be the commercial success it became. railroad capital of America, the hog butcher of America, the second largest manufacturer of steel, processor of grain, processor of wood, because of where it is.
Em 1879, o hotel ofereceu um jantar e o chamou, modestamente, de o maior banquete da história dos Estados Unidos. A lista de convidados incluía o presidente Ulysses S. Grant, o general William Sherman e o mestre de cerimônias era Mark Twain.
That was the beer stein that was filled twice during the course of this evening.
God, very heavy. You say you've got some more of this to see?
Actually, the entire collection is 3 stories beneath the hotel, under the hotel subway, because this stuff is truly priceless.
Whose palm do I have to grease to see it?
That's another $12.
Turning expensive.
Let's see how these muscles work now.
How far does this go? Oh, I see. How heavy is it?
11 tons.
This is all the worries and hallmarks of a bull in a china shop.
This is the entire collection, 24-karat heavily lacquered gold and bone china.
It's believed that each place setting of 18 pieces is worth about $27,000, which by my reckoning makes each plate roughly $1,700. Let's not be grubby and talk about money. This is history.
Absolutely. And history really is priceless.
Mas Quest quer conhecer a parte mais doce desse lugar.
The pastry kitchen. They've promised me something good.
Reza a lenda que o brownie foi inventado no Palmer House por ordens da própria senhora Bertha Palmer.
The original recipe from 1893. Bertha knew her brownies.
Em Chicago, sobreviver e prosperar exige criatividade e coragem. E ninguém é impedido de trilhar seu caminho para o sucesso, desde que tenha as duas coisas. Durante boa parte do século XX, mafiosos como Al Capone dominavam a cidade às escondidas.
You could come here and you can do a lot of things you might not be able to do in other cities.
Frank Calabrese Jr. nasceu nos negócios. Ele se tornou um mafioso no final da adolescência. Agora, com mais de 50 anos, essa vida é só uma lembrança.
Organized crime in Chicago lasted for so many years and was so powerful was because of the people that ran it. Even though the Chicago mob was much more smaller in numbers than New York, they were more powerful.
Os mafiosos da era Capone tiravam vantagem da lei seca e das comunidades de imigrantes. E isso não mudou muito ao longo do século XXI.
If you paid a street tax, a protection tax, you paid the mob, the beat cops, and the politicians. Everybody got a cut. And there were perks if you did pay that street tax. There was also consequences if you didn't. Like any business. I wound up following my dad and my uncle into this life. And every stage, it would start graduating to more. So it started with just these simple tasks to arson, extortion, violence. And it even came to the point where planning and assisting in murders. And this came in my early 20s.
O pai dele, Frank "The Breeze" Calabrese, foi um mafioso notório que cuidou das operações em Chinatown por décadas.
We are in the farthest north end of what was an Italian neighborhood many years ago. My dad grew up just a block down from here. So growing up in this neighborhood, if you were tough as a kid, you only had 2 choices in life. You either became a gangster or a law enforcement, a copper. You know, that's how heavily fortified this area was with gangsters. It was breeding grounds.
Filho de peixe, peixinho é. Foi assim até o filho do próprio Frank Jr. nascer. Frank Jr. quis sair. Ele se tornou um informante para o FBI na Operação Segredos de Família. E a pessoa que ele delatou foi seu pai, Frank Sr.
The worst thing you can do in my neighborhood is be a snitch, be a rat. So when I contacted the FBI, I didn't want anything from them. I just wanted to assist them. So I did all my time, pay all my fines, no immunity.
A investigação de 2007 foi um grande golpe para as operações da máfia na cidade. E outras pessoas resolveram sair.
There are guys left, but they're not doing what they used to do. They want legitimate. And younger people, who wants to get in an organization where everybody's paranoid? You either get killed or you go to jail for a long time. The government has a lot of weapons.
Se quiser se aprofundar nas questões políticas dessa cidade, fale com Don Rose. Sua habilidade política veio com o movimento dos direitos civis, pois ele era secretário de imprensa de Martin Luther King Jr. Ele esteve presente em uma das noites mais famosas de Chicago.
I was part of the group of radical troublemakers who were protesting the war in Vietnam, and we came right up here, out of the park, and were met here by scores of policemen, police wagons, and heavy billy clubs.
Tear gas? Lots of tear gas?
Tear gas, we fought our way through tear gas. That's what set the whole thing off. This became known as the Battle of Michigan Avenue.
Foi a Convenção Nacional do Partido Democrata de 1968.
Why have you brought me here for dinner?
Well, this is a very interesting place in my life and in the life of Chicago. It was a big favorite of a fellow named Obama, and there's a lot of citizen politicking here in this neighborhood.
If I say Chicago political machine, or even just the Chicago machine,
Right.
everybody knows what I'm talking about, do they?
Well, they have some picture, I think. It is the most efficient election winning organization, or was, in its heyday, which lasted a very, very long time. It was perfected by Mayor Richard Daley, who brought the business and financial world into his machine.
Os anos dourados de Richard J. Daley foram de 1955 a 1976.
What did they do? I mean, did they stuff ballots? Did people end up sort of tied to concrete and thrown in rivers?
Well, short of being tied in concrete, yes, they certainly stuffed ballots. But it also used power, legitimate and illegitimate. One way or another, you had to pay your way. I mean, this is where the Chicago politics got its name.
Has it changed?
Oh, it's changed dramatically. Out of Chicago came the first our first black mayor, and now our second black mayor, who is a woman and a lesbian, and a fellow named Obama made it all the way to the top.
A cidade continua sendo uma força motriz no governo americano. Embora a época da máquina política e da máfia tenha passado, o espírito pragmático permanece até hoje. Os bairros muitas vezes ditam qual caminho você seguirá. Seja o da pizza, dos esportes ou da política, escolha um lado e fique nele.
I can avoid it no longer. I must now enmesh myself in the serious subject of Chicago pizza. Deep dish or thin crust tavern style. And I've come from the city centre to the northern neighbourhoods. It takes real Chicago bragging to call yourself the art of pizza. I'll have a slice of that and a slice of thin crust. I think that is about half the blade, and that barely registered a quarter. Now, in America, you eat pizza with your fingers. But deep dish, very bad idea. I am going to make enemies overnight. I prefer thin crust.
Seja a pizza deep dish ou a de massa fina, será que esse é o prato preferido dos cidadãos de Chicago? Ou será o cachorro-quente?
What is the classic?
Classic, we have a Chicago hot dog.
So what are we putting on? Which ones? What's the choice?
Relish, onion, mustard, pickles, tomatoes.
Everything except the pickles. Never like pickles, still don't like pickles, never will like pickles. Somebody will say it's not a real Chicago dog without the pickles.
Well, you know, the long ones are really the ones that go with it.
So I've really got to have one of them.
Yeah, they usually like a lot of grilled onions on them, too.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, that is so good.
How the hell do you eat it?
Não há esporte mais americano que o beisebol. E em Chicago, nenhum lugar simboliza melhor sua lealdade ao esporte do que o estádio Wrigley Field. Ali, torcedores do Chicago Cubs às vezes celebram o V de vitória com o W e, em outras vezes, torcem pelo próximo sucesso. Mas não é só o time que tem fãs. Wrigley Field, construído em 1914, também os tem. É o segundo estádio de beisebol mais antigo dos Estados Unidos, atrás do Fenway Park dos Red Sox. Boa parte foi reformada, mas uma coisa continua igual: o placar, um dos poucos que são manuais na liga. E Darryl Wilson é o responsável por ele.
The Cubs have this website that shows me the scores throughout the league for the games.
O Darryl não só acompanha o placar para o Cubs, ele tem que monitorar e publicar o placar de todos os jogos da liga. É uma tarefa complicada, ainda mais antes dos notebooks.
Then we had ticker tape. You had to read every sports that was going on at that time. So we had to read through, I don't know how much rolls of paper. You hear a box score come up, and it pauses, then you know it's a box score. So we run up, second or third floor, change the score of that game, come back down. By the time you got back to the second floor, the paper was over the rails down to the first floor.
Não é brincadeira. Esse trabalho exige muito esforço físico.
There's a small clip for the middle. You want to turn it, just bang it, pop it out, flip it around, bottom first. These larger plates are the starting pitchers. Next to them are the relief pitchers. Starting pitchers stay the same, but these guys over here change constantly. You can put one in, by the time you get back to check it again, there's another one changing again. It's probably about 15 pounds, 10 pounds maybe. I don't know, I just, they all feel the same to me, I'm so used to it.
Nessa cidade enorme, os times marcam seu território. Os torcedores do Cubs dominam o norte e os do White Sox são os reis do sul.
I'm from the South Side. There's always the black and white hats, and Cubby fans are like banned from my neighborhood. So in '87, when I got the job, I had to tell all my friends, I'm working for the Cubs now. Every day I got off work, they just rag on me all the time, all the time.
Os torcedores do Cubs passaram mais de um século sofrendo junto com o time. Então, em 2016, eles se vingaram. O time, apelidado de Adoráveis Perdedores, venceu sua primeira World Series desde 1908.
It was hard for us to even keep up with scores, because every time they did something, we wanted to look out and see what was going on. It was magical. It's electrifying.
By now, you'll realize I love this city, and it's been a real struggle to come up with a single word that defines it. So I've come to the bean, and suddenly it's obvious. Chicago is giant. From commerce to culture to community, everything about this place is big and in your face. But it has a confidence like the bean itself to be able to reflect and look back. Chicago has a unique place in the development of the United States. And you will want to come and see this for yourself, because without any doubt or question, Chicago is part of our world of wonder.
Há uma parte do mundo, no Círculo Polar Ártico, onde a luz do dia não chega com tanta facilidade. Com o frio cortante do inverno, até o sol se esconde nas cobertas. Mas quando ele finalmente aparece, é recebido por todos com muita alegria. As pessoas daqui não apenas enfrentam o dia, elas o recebem de braços abertos. Essa é Rovaniêmi, na Finlândia.
A long, deserted road seemingly to nowhere. The fortitude of the Finns who live in these circumstances is well known. After all, they live in near perpetual winter darkness. There's either snow, sleet or rain, and the temperatures are usually freezing. It takes a special type of person to put up with all of that lot. And here in Lapland, they also have the home of Santa Claus and reindeer. Put that into the mixture, and there's a unique spirit for those people who live in the Arctic Circle.
Para chegar ao coração desse lugar, o jornalista Richard Quest sai do centro da cidade e vai para o sossego da floresta, onde as renas dominam. Aqui, elas são mais do que um símbolo do Natal.
We are going inside there too, and then start to do the reindeer herding things.
Reindeer herding things.
Reindeer herding things.
This is licken.
That's licken, the reindeer
Licken.
chocolate. Licken.
They
In
can-
Finnish word, it's jäkälä.
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 Reindeer. Dinner time.
A criação de renas é o ganha-pão do Sami.
When the reindeer is walking, it doesn't go only this deep in the snow.
Seu conhecimento sobre criação de renas é tão profundo quanto as tradições.
In the reindeer world, the males are giving orders 1 month per year. Her name is Usva. His name is Ville.
Ville.
Every reindeer herder must have at least one white reindeer in his herd, because there are elves who are living underground in the caves.
As renas e a cultura lapônica se tornaram uma coisa só. E você vai ouvir falar muito sobre esse forte laço.
Every area has a limit how many reindeers there can be.
Why?
Because the numbers is coming from us, the reindeer herders. Because we know how much the reindeer's nature can handle and feed.
We think of reindeers as cute things for Rudolph at Christmas, but it's not. It's a real working farm.
Yes, this is the real working farm.
O Richard vai dar uma mão pro Sami hoje.
It's much easier when you are going in rounds, and then with two.
You've got to be joking.
There.
Grab the reindeer, pull it and walk round.
Yes.
That's a big one. That's a bit big.
Easier when they're one by one. There.
Ah!
Claramente, o Quest não está tendo muito sucesso na missão.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
And there.
Oh, come on. That wasn't playing fair. I've got this idea that I'm gonna hurt it if I pull its antlers out.
No.
Which is ridiculous because it fights with antlers.
They are coming. There. Never lose it.
Reindeer.
Rena 1, Quest 0.
You spend months schlepping around the mountains and the hills trying to find these reindeer so you can bring them back in, mark them, decide which ones. It's exhausting.
No. Do it with your heart and little by little.
So what's in the inside, the core?
When you are in the nature, be one with the nature. Good girl, good girl. And then goes around and cat takes the antler, takes the antler.
This is a lot harder than it looks. Hey.
No, there. Hi.
Essa antiga relação com as renas e a natureza é quase espiritual. Como uma espécie de homenagem, o animal literalmente faz parte do projeto de Rovaniêmi, que foi completamente destruída durante a Segunda Guerra Mundial. Quando foi reconstruída pelo arquiteto finlandês Alvar Aalto, a cidade ganhou o formato de cabeça de rena. As estradas formam os chifres e o estádio local é o olho. Um lugar super povoado por renas e uma cidade projetada pensando nelas. Nada mais apropriado para a cidade oficial do Papai Noel. Em Rovaniêmi, o sol ainda não nasceu. A temperatura está congelante. E o Richard começa a se arrepender do compromisso que marcou. O hobby dessas senhoras não é tricotar. Elas gostam mesmo é de nadar todas as manhãs nesse rio gelado. Neve por toda parte, temperatura congelante e um grande buraco para saltar. Que coragem!
So how you feel? And enjoy.
Enjoy.
You have to enjoy this.
Enjoy. Whoa.
O traje para nadar no inverno inclui uma touca.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh, I could feel my heart going and I had to remember to keep breathing.
You did a very good job.
Thank you. Thank you. And you do this every morning?
Yeah.
Every morning. Brilliant. What a brilliant way to start the day. I feel like a local. I could murder a cup of coffee.
A experiência do Quest na água congelante tem a ver com a essência da cidade e dos seus habitantes. Rovaniêmi é a cidade oficial do Papai Noel. Mas não foi ele que despertou o interesse pelo turismo desse lugar.
This humble log cabin is amongst the most important buildings in Rovaniemi. After the Second World War, when the town was being rebuilt, the former First Lady of the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt, wanted to come and see the reconstruction for herself and wanted to visit the Arctic Circle. So they built Mrs. Roosevelt her own cabin.
A visita de Eleanor Roosevelt marcou o início de um esforço oficial para atrair turista para a cidade. Quest vai refazer os passos da ex-primeira-dama dos Estados Unidos em Rovaniêmi. E isso significa ir até a floresta para conhecer uma mulher que dizem ser uma joia local.
Can we wear this to you?
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Quest foi colocado para trabalhar assim que chegou.
Do you want to make a Christmas tart? Joulutorttu.
What?
Joulutorttu.
Joulu.
Torttu.
Torttu.
Yes.
Oh, tart.
A Irene vive um estilo de vida laponês tradicional. Ela cozinha tudo do zero.
And this here. And this here. And no, bush. Then it's ready.
Ela tem um forno a lenha que requer trabalho manual para mantê-lo aceso.
Have you done this before?
Clearly not. Hang on, I've got it now.
E o mais interessante é de onde ela obtém boa parte de sua comida.
I pick berries, herbs, mushrooms. We fishing our fish ourselves, then we hunting moose and birds.
Para pessoas como a Irene, a maior parte do que elas comem e criam vem da floresta. Será que ela consegue convencer Quest a viver desse modo também?
Your relationship with the forest.
Very important. Very important. We cannot live without forest.
How is Lapland different from the rest of Finland, do you think?
Life in Lapland is not so hectic. not so busy, you know. And we are more open because we live very near nature. When I see northern lights, they reminds me how small I am. Mm.
And when you see reindeer?
You excuse me, in next life I want to be a reindeer.
What?
Because in Lapland we believe when we die, in next life we are reindeer.
And why is that better than being a human?
Because reindeers are survivors. Reindeers were the reason why people came here after Ice Age.
Aí está ela de novo, a rena e sua conexão com tudo na Lapônia.
We've come across from the house. This is the workshop.
Yeah.
It's here.
É aqui que Irene e seu marido confeccionam artesanatos, que são feitos, é claro...
Reindeer.
Reindeer. No reindeers.
Nenhuma rena foi ferida na confecção dessas peças. Os criadores de rena trazem os chifres caídos para Irene e para o seu marido. Aliás, é difícil imaginar como as renas carregam isso na cabeça.
Without antler, no chance to make reindeer babies. Yeah.
Right, so the reindeer. So stabbed myself. So what do you do with it?
This part of antler is coming knife. This part of antler here, you know, for example here, my husband make this kind of pieces.
For jewelry?
Yes.
You have a remarkable talent for art, culinary gastronomy of Lapland. What does it all mean to you?
To me?
Yeah.
This all. That they are present from Mother Nature to me. Mother Nature is always number one.
Essas imagens parecem ter saído de um cartão postal de Rovaniêmi, na Finlândia. Se conseguir encarar as temperaturas árticas, você pode fazer como Quest e despertar a criança que mora em você. Mas para Yuri Cascal, brincar na neve é coisa séria. Você vê a moto de neve e vê a rampa. Mas quem teria coragem de juntar as duas coisas? Tem que ser muito maluco para sair pilotando, subir nessa rampa e ver no que dá. Yuri é literalmente um cara singular. Ele é o único piloto de neve profissional de estilo livre na Finlândia.
You actually let go?
Did you see without my hand?
I did.
You really can feel like you're flying. That's great.
You are mad. Certifiably bonkers.
That's so much fun. It gives me so much.
I'm not the guy who wants to do the scariest tricks first and immediately, because I want to practice it, everything like my own way.
There's not that many professional freestylers in the world, are there?
No.
How many?
Like 15 or 20 in the whole country, whole world.
So you must be good. Look, nobody's going to pay you money.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to pay you money.
I'm good. I'm not satisfied at the thing where I am now, because I want to be better. I want to do the trick that nobody else have never done on a snowmobile.
Do you know what that trick is?
Yeah, I know it.
Are you going to tell me?
Nope.
A trilha de lazer é mais a cara do Quest. O Yuri concordou em guiá-lo. Mas ele ainda tem muito que aprender.
You can't start, you can't ride. Did you get any snow shower?
That was not playing nice.
Wrong way!
I think I'll leave that to the experts. This part of the world has given you something.
Yeah.
It's the nature, the sleds, the snow, the trees. What's it given you?
When you be in forest and you see
It's getting darker, it's cold, you make a fire there, and you be there with your friends or family. Your minds and your things are only there then. You don't think about traffic and everything like that. That's the thing what I like.
And when you go to London or to big cities, what do you think then?
I think then that those people need some nature.
O povo de Rovaniêmi descobriu o segredo. É mais do que ver o lado positivo do frio. É aproveitar o inverno ao máximo. Recebê-lo como um velho amigo, admirar o solo coberto de neve e passear bem agasalhado com a família.
It's very easy to be cynical about the overt selling of Christmas, the excessive commercialism here, but I think that somewhat ignores it all. The reality is, try and look at it through the eyes of children. Once you do that, then the whole thing makes sense. Santa, elves, Christmas, magic.
Prometeram ao Quest um encontro com o Papai Noel. E ele não vai embora até que cumpram a promessa.
All these crates of presents ready to go on the sled at Christmas.
Agora, só falta achar o escritório do Papai Noel.
In this world of wonder, let me show you the Earth Rotational Speed Regulator. It is Santa's time machine that allows him to get around the world in 24 hours, deliver all the presents, drink all the milk, and eat all the biscuits. Round the corner.
Quest está quase lá.
Nearly there.
Oh, hello, Richard, my friend.
Santa.
So nice to see you here again.
Oh.
I'll be waiting for you so long.
Now, first of all, let's be clear. Where do you actually live? Because this is your work. Where do you live, Santa?
Actually, I don't work. This is pleasure and a way of living. And my home is kind of a hidden place, a secret place, here in Lapland.
I'm a business traveller, and I will have travelled about 200,000 miles, maybe 250,000 this year. And it took me hours and hours and hours, but you do it in one night. The physics says it can't be done without blowing the whole thing up.
What does the physics say about magic of Christmas? There's the answer, magic of Christmas.
If I was in your seat and you were in my seat, and I said to you, Santa, what would you like for Christmas? What would you say?
Especially this Christmas. I've been a little bit worried about people. Sometimes when they say something to other people or write to other people, they say so harsh words. They can be even vicious and angry. This Christmas, after this when we talk here, please say something nice to each other.
É um pensamento perfeito para o Natal. Algo gentil, algo decente, algo bom.
Rovaniemi is the tiny town with the big heart. You don't come here to see the buildings and architecture, you come to experience the forests and lakes. The people here are at one, in harmony with nature, in a spirited way. And spirit is the word to describe this place. The spirit of lights, the spirit of nature, the spirit of Christmas, seemingly all year round. After all, any place that calls itself the home of Santa with reindeers galore is definitely part of our world of wonder.